Hello, everybody, and welcome to Getting APIs to Work. Today, we say hello to David Roldán Martínez. Hey, David, how are you doing?
Fine. Very happy to be here.
We are talking about APIs and AI today. You are API lead at Shaper, and your job, I think, also means that you think about, well, what can I do with APIs? And there's a lot of talk about APIs and AI, and sometimes the discussion, I'd say it's a little bit confusing or covers a lot of different things. So today we just want to clarify a little bit what you can do. So if you had to explain very briefly, what's the overlap between APIs and AI? How would you go about doing that?
Well, I think that there could be a huge contribution between them, and this talk is to clarify this. I'm seeing currently two main scenarios or two big fields of applications. The first one would be how APIs can help AA, and the other one is how AA can help APIs. So if you
That's
want,
a good way of putting it, I think. We can help.
So we can, in the first one, which is how to apply APIs to AA, if you want, we can talk about this first, is how to expose artificial intelligence services as a service. Is what we call artificial intelligence as a service. The main aim here is to be able to provide artificial intelligence in companies that are not having the infrastructure or the computing resources to provide or to use artificial intelligence machine learning on site. So they decide. So some companies are offering these services through APIs. So you can invoke those APIs to be able to consume or to add your artificial intelligence and machine learning to your products or services by using an API.
So that would be, I would say, kind of a classical API use case where you're saying something is not really our core business, but on the other hand, we think we can benefit from using that. So instead of doing everything ourselves, we're kind of outsourcing that and then using it through an API. Now, when we discussed how this part maybe could be broken down a little further, we came up with two different ways of how this AI as a service scenario could work out. Could you briefly talk about those two different things, please?
Yeah, I would distinguish two main branches in this topic. That would be the first one would be pre-trained or cognitive APIs, which is, for example, Alexa APIs. You can build your own, or you can include in your applications artificial intelligence using Alexa APIs. For example, for a conversation, for a chatbot, using this kind of AI. And the other one would be the machine learning APIs. You provide to the machine learning API provider your data source. You can also choose an algorithm, and then you invoke the APIs and get the predictions. The predictions are run in the cloud provider. You only get the results.
So in that regard, that second version would be more like machine learning as a service, so to speak. So it would be a lower level API where instead of getting like everything ready to go, you would need to provide the data and train and then get predictions from that. But on the other end, I would say it probably gives you more flexibility in what you can do, but it requires a little bit more effort to better understand what you're even doing with that.
Yeah, I think
for that,
the big thing about using APIs in this scenario is that you can use several or both of them to build your own API. You can take as Lego can take one piece from here, another one piece from here, and then make a kind of aggregation to provide more value to your customers, which is the aim of using these technologies. The customer should be in the center.
Yeah. So in the end, I think it's like the typical, I would say, building block aspect of
Mhm.
APIs, right? I
Yeah,
can pick and choose and then build something new on top of
yeah,
that, and I can get some building blocks externally. Okay, good. I think that part we've covered now, the kind of AI as a service part, so to speak. Now let's jump into the second
okay.
category that you were also mentioning. So the first one, I like that way that you put it. So the first one is what can APIs do for AI? And now let's look what can AI do for APIs.
Yeah, let's see that way. AI, I think that today there is a lot of hype with AI because it's true that AI is a very transversal technology that has a huge fields of application. At the end, I'm going to be very simplistic here. At the end, what AI does is you have a bunch of data, so you apply that the artificial intelligence of on those data and you get inputs. Its inputs are very valuable because they are mostly predictions. So you are able to forecast what is going to happen. The same way as if you had a crystal ball. Well, not the same way, but very similar. very
Tiny
very similar.
differences there, but yeah.
so so how to apply these AI to APIs? I would mention first in the design phase. So you can do both two ways. For example, inspecting real traffic to infer
Hmm.
the optimal data model you are going to expose through your REST APIs, for example. And another way should be using AI to optimize the data model you are already have designed, or for example your error handling strategy to see to forecast what can happen if you choose to implement your error handling that way or that other way.
Hmm.
Another topic would be operation. You can use artificial intelligence to inspect real-time traffic and to provide some proactive measures to always guarantee that the API is going to be and not to get a decrease in your performance, for example. You can predict if, for example, there is a spike in the traffic. You can forecast it and then include a runtime policy to avoid that spike traffic and
Hmm.
decrease in your performance. Also,
So I
security.
think that's where the crystal ball there is kind of very
Yeah,
useful, right? To be able to predict
yeah.
certain things and then, but I think it's always like it's not actually a crystal ball.
No,
so
no.
so in that case, I think like because in that case, I think it's really important, for example, that you have enough training data so that, for
Yeah,
example, that you can see seasonal spikes, right? So you need the patterns that you're using to be good enough that they help you to actually predict things that you
yeah.
need to see.
Artificial
Um,
intelligence is not a black. You provide your input, your problems, and they give a solution automatically by magic, by using
yeah.
magic. There is always
Mhm.
there should be always a good data model with a good data architecture with good training data. The quality is not only the amount of data you have, but the quality of the data. So if you have good data, the results predicted by AI will be also good. But if you have
Mhm.
bad
Mhm.
data, bad quality data, the predictions won't be. I don't know how to call it, but but they won't be
Okay,
really
so
good.
we've looked. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So we looked at the crystal ball now. Once you said for API design, and the second one was for API operations, basically.
Mhm.
And now let's look at the third bucket that you've identified, where APIs also could benefit from a little bit of AI.
Yeah, security. Security. You
Okay.
can use AI to predict the types of attacks you probably will get, And of course, if you are able to know in advance which kind of attacks you are going to suffer, you should be able to put measures to avoid the impact of those attacks, because it's true that you are going to have attacks for sure. APIs are every day are more critical when exposing information, because they are the better they are the better way to expose data. So hackers are always trying to attack them and broke them.
Hackers is one thing. Another, I think, interesting area where I've seen AI being useful is, is this whole idea of zero trust to authenticate more often, ideally every single time.
Yeah.
And then the question also is like, how risky is it to authenticate, right? And then I think like these risk models are also becoming more and more important because, as you say, we know there are more and more hackers out there. So we're trying to shift security in that direction. And I think this kind of the risk models and risk analysis for each request, right? Each request of somebody coming in and saying, I'm person X. I think that is another interesting place where probably you will see more and more products, I would say, using AI to do that in a more adaptive way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that most of the platform are going to embrace AA in their product strategy, because it's true that it can provide a lot of nice features to offer a better to give more confidence to the solutions, not only in the security, but for example, in the design. You will make your API designers' life easier using APIs.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so I think we can wrap it up then by kind of just looking at APIs and AI. There is a lot of, let's say, there's a lot of overlap, so to speak, or there are interesting things to be done. And in the end, like the one big thing is AI as a service, and the other thing then is kind of improving your API practices, so to speak, with AI. But in the end, I think, right, the interesting question always is, why are we even discussing this? That's always, for me, a little bit like when people talk about APIs and AI, like my first go-to question is always, as you know, one of my favorite questions, the Spice Girls question. Right? Tell me what you really, really want.
Really want.
Yeah, because in the end, that's the important thing, I think, right? It's like nobody wants AI, in my mind. Nobody really says, I want AI. They say, okay, I want better security. I want better design. I want to make my customers more happy by providing a chatbot, whatever it is, right? But these are the kind of things
at the end, what they really want is to achieve their business goal. So and I think that the AI and APIs is a good marriage to help companies to do that.
Okay, I think that's a very good wrap up, right? So in the end, it's about business goals. AI can help you in a variety of ways. But before you kind of jump too deeply into just saying we need AI, first think about how it can help you. And thanks, David, for talking us through kind of different ways in which these two topics actually intersect.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks for joining us, David, and thanks everybody for watching. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. And with that, we're done for today. Thanks a lot, and see you another time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.